Photo News, South Canterbury's photographic newspaper. Circulation 17,000 copies. Registered as a newspaper and published by Photograph Newspapers Limited, P.O. Box 270 Timaru. Here is the front page of issue number 6 in February 1984. South Canterbury's amateur photographers took part in an 8-hour photographic seminar at the weekend. 4 models came from Christchurch for the course, which involved a 3-hour video on modelling photography, a 1-hour briefing session and 4 hours of practical photography, captured on the other end of the camera is Mr. Peter Dobson of Twizel, photographing Tina Johnson and Linda Strawn of Christchurch. Life in the 30s is the theme of a downtown Timaru promotion. Getting on the fun is Kim Manson and Jan Heron. The promotion is creating a great deal of interest with store owners saying the promotion looks to be well worthwhile. That's the front page of issue number 6, February 1984, Photo News. Photo News, page 2. Staff members of FTC have no hesitation about giving their full support to the downtown promotion. Left to right, Tracy McKenzie, Terry Andrew and Carol Darby. Lucky Sovereign Store. Gold fever hits Timaru. This is the poster to look for when you visit Timaru this week. The generous prize is being offered by the Timaru Downtown Promotions Committee and will be drawn on Saturday the 25th of February. Kerry Bishop, Joanne MacDonald and Eileen Gibbich also get into the mood of things. Kerry's sister here, Sharon Bishop, Photo News receptionist, is asking for Photo News orders. Photo News is brought to you with the compliments of its advertisers. Thank you for supporting them. 21 years in New Zealand, Crown Motors Limited sponsored that page. Page 3, Photo News. A world record may have been set in Twizel this month, with 121 Ministry of Works development staff taking a defensive driving course. It is now compulsory for MOWD staff to complete such a course, and all those attending a Twizel course were from the town. The instructors, Mrs. S. Inch, G. Enstrom and B. Meldrew, and the course director, B. Green, all worked in a voluntary capacity. On the right here we have J. Watty Canneries factory at Washdyke had some special visitors recently as 3 Japanese businessmen looked over the operation. Inspecting frozen vegetables are from left, Mr. A. Kazumi of the Nara Koba Consumers Cooperative Society, Mr. M. Kikuchi of Tokyo Morichi Shoshi Co. Limited, and Mr. S. Masamoto of the Kada Koba Consumers Cooperative Society, with Waddy's manager, Mr. Wigg, and production manager, Trevor Annett. Fay Reid looks as though she would have enjoyed the elegant style of the 1930s. The DB draft certainly was cracked open when dozens of cans of beer fell off the back of a Wilson Neils truck. Passing motorists and Wilson Neils staff were quickly on the scene to clear the road. Page 6, Photo News Sport. 42 competitors took part in the St Joseph School's annual swim sports at Pleasant Point. Emma Simmons left and Charlotte Irvine, both at Pleasant Point, taking part in the sports. Bowlers from all over South Island converged on Timaru last week for the South Canterbury RSA Bowling Club's Open Fours tournament. A dynamic four from Linwood: Hugh Berry, Murray Herbert, Malcolm Livingston, Fred Needham took the major honours, showing their style are Cyril Johnston, top left of Mosgiel, and Jock Masters of the West End Club. Timaru cyclist Wayne Howes took first place overall at the Timaru Amateur Cycling Track Championships. The stage was sponsored by Timaru Marine Supplies and Dan Cosgrove Limited and G&A McLaughlin. Right, looking at page 7. More people. Mr. McIver Stanley of Temuka receives the Gold Star Award from the Canterbury District President of the RSA, Mr. G.I. Henderson. Mr. Stanley joined the Temuka RSA on his return from active service in 1946. In 1957, Ivor was elected into the executive of the Temuka Association, serving through until 1975. He was elected Vice President of the Association 1964 to 65 and served as President during 66, 67 and 68. Ivor is currently Chairman of the local Patriotic Welfare Committee and has been the Temuka Borough Council representative on the Timaru Patriotic Fund Board since 1974. Ivor is one of 7 RSA members from Temuka who have received the special award. More people. Taking part in the photographic seminar held in Timaru at the weekend are Eon Smith and Jim Mitchell with Christchurch model Fran Sulling. More people. 4 new arrivals to the district are now settling into their new homes and schools in South Canterbury. From left, Carter White of the USA, who is staying with the Forsyth family and attending Waimate High School. Jacinta Liang, Hong Kong, who joins the pupils at Morris Mountain View High School and is living in the Struthers with the Struthers family of Timaru. Chantal Chassany of Canada, who is attending Timaru Girls High School and living with the Flack family of Timaru. Stephen Shapiro, USA, who is living with the Slade family of Timaru and attending Timaru Boys High School. The 4 AFS exchange students are here for 12 months. 5 students are anxiously waiting for confirmation of their destination under the AFS exchange scheme, while Michelle Stevens, 4th from left, has received her papers and will be leaving next month for 12 months in Thailand. Michelle, a pupil of Timaru Girls High School, says her big problem is the language, but apart from that, is looking forward to a new home. From left, Sharon Fenton, Timaru, Karen Pina, Waimate, Kate Menlove, Lumsden, Michelle Neal, Middleton, Oamaru, and Brian Parker, Temuka. The 5 were at Timaru Girls High School recently to hear the AFS students speak on their experiences overseas. The page was sponsored by Dove Print, Johnson's Outboard Motors, and South Canterbury Finance. Spot colour on newspapers, bright red printing, was a new innovation in the 1980s. And here we have Photo News album. Some weddings here. Rena Rooney, Linda, second daughter of Gibson and Francis Rooney of Hook, Waimate, and Darryl, second son of Carl and Mer Rena of Upper Hutt, welcomed their many friends and relations in their recent wedding at St Augustine Church, Waimate. Ponder Williams. Nicola and Tony Ponder were married at St Paul's Church, Timaru. Nicola is the only daughter of Ken and Lorraine Williams of Timaru. Tony is the eldest son of Heather and John Ponder of Seadown. Nicola and Tony will make their home in Matamata. Photo by Wayne Miller. Deans O'Reilly. Alistair and Miriam Deans, who were married at the New Life Church on 28th of January. Miriam is the eldest daughter of Mr. and Mrs. C.J. Callender of Auckland, and Alistair is the eldest son of Mr. and Mrs. Austin Deans of Peel Forest. The bridesmaid Teresa Chandler, the best man John Mason, and junior bridesmaid Jenny Knowles are all from Timaru, while the page boy Sean Deans is from Christchurch. The couple will make their home in Timaru. Photo by Gus Bishop. Thompson and Baltrop. Gary and Nicola Tomlinson, who were married recently at the Hunter Church. The bride is the second daughter of Alex and Mary Pathrop of 37 Harris Street, Waimate, and her husband is the second son of Fred and Joan Tomlinson of Scott Street, Lake Tekapo. The couple will make their home in Hi. Dale and Jane Carter. Jan Carter. Jan, the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. L.J. Dobbs of Hadlow, and Dale, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Carter of Palmerston North, were married at St Paul's, Seddon Street, Timaru. The couple have returned to live in Wellington but wish to stay. Thanks, Mum and Dad, for a great wedding day. Photo by Tim Hawkins. This page was sponsored by McFarlane and Johnson Life Tiles, Scott's Wholesale Furnitures, FDC Farmers, Desmond Unwin Limited, and Doors for Floors. Page 10 of Photo News. More people. The temporary vicar at St Augustine's Church in Waimate is the Reverend Mrs. Barbara Vincent, also who took up her appointment recently. The South Canterbury Aquarium Society marked its 30th anniversary recently, and Mr. Sam Milligan and Mr. Frank McKenzie had the honour of cutting the cake in front of the Society's 20 members. The talented and versatile Anne Montgomery showed why she is so highly regarded as the country's and western singer when she performed at the DB Tavern on Monday night. The 21-year-old Aucklander involved the crowd in the show, as can be seen above, when she on a number of occasions moved about the audience. Above is Mr. M.E. Hicks and Mr. Warwick Benfield find themselves a little more involved than others. The page was sponsored by Smith's Wholesale Groceries and Owen's Wholesale Market in Waimate. Right, we're moving over to page 11. Kids. 2-year-old Paul Mackay loves feeding horses, but even at his age on and off a horse, he still likes to be prepared. 2.5-year-old Timothy Valentine has to entertain himself now that his brother and sister have returned to school. Mark Goodfellow is one of the many enthusiastic youngsters who deliver your issue of Photo News to your gate every fortnight. John S. Mills, Page was sponsored by John S. Mills, watchmaker, and Hawthorne Foodorama, and Hassel Street Butchery. Page 12 of Photo News has 4 advertisers. Central Pharmacy, Roberts Pharmacy, and there's photographs there of Brent Roberts, the pharmacist manager, Pam Sullivan, the pharmacist, Nikki McKinnon, dispensary assistant, and Janelle Walls, the shop assistant. Also sponsoring the page was Ashley Electronics and W.H. Collins and Company. Right, more people on page 13. After a bad weather for the early part of last weekend, Sunday came just right for the barbecuing, and Merv Shand became chief cook during a picnic at Morrison Park. Stories flowed thick and fast at the weekend as 20 ex-British Land Army girls who worked together in the First and Second World Wars gathered together for a reunion in Timaru. The organisation, which was founded 7 years ago, periodically holds small reunions throughout New Zealand. Working hard during a tennis match is Wendy Allison of Washtake. She competed in the South Canterbury Closed Junior Championships at Maori Park. Above, Mrs. Tapp at Timaru with her winning arrangement at the Comrie Trophy class at the Timaru Horticulture Society's recent show at Caroline Bay Hall. Entries from as far south as Invercargill and from Australia were attracted to the South Canterbury Kennel Society's Championships show at the weekend. The best dog in the show was Wongan Proper Poseidon, an import from Australia, with handler Robin Walker left, while the reserve best in show went to champion Rifleman Firefly, owned by Mrs. G. Shields. Mr. Hugh Bradley of Bradley Small Arms Manufacturing Limited of Timaru is delighted the company's rifles have received a Design Mark award. Page, what have we got over here? Right, at the carnival is over. The amusement rides at Caroline Bay were packed away for another year by volunteer helpers in the weekend. Dismantling the big wheel are Lindsay and Stephen Soul. Page sponsored by Page's Paint Centre. There's Brian Wetherall there, shop manager, and Bob Dorgan, contract manager. The other sponsor was Reese Brothers Limited. Names, faces and places. Sister Mary has returned to Pleasant Point as the new principal of the St. Joseph Convent School. She said she was more than happy to be back in the town after being away since 1968. Sister Mary has spent some time as principal at Matata School in the Bay of Plenty, but for the last 12 months she has been in Australia on a spiritual education course. This page was sponsored by Bishop Campbell & Co, Tots the Teens, Air New Zealand Parker's Corner, photograph inquiries to John and Joy Hall from Waimate, Waimate Auctions, Waimate Furnitures, MJ Leonard, Waimate, Graham Puri, Waimate, Northtown Organ Sales, Nan McClister and Betty Manning, Garage Doors, Waimate Appliances, Hames Motors, Waimate, and Carpet Warehouse, Butterfield's Wholesale Carpet Warehouse. Across the page, Enting's Real Estate sponsored page 15 along with Gabbady's Electrical Centre. Thinking of Building, Graham Thompson also sponsored the page. Your news is our news. Don't keep it a secret, tell Photo News. We specialise in photo news and photo advertising. For effective impact advertising, consider these facts. Tablet-sized paper for easy handling and limited waste space. Over 50 photos and captions of 100% local news. A family paper viewed and easily read by all ages. Limited number of advertisers per page for added impact. Free to every home in Timaru, Temuka, Pariora, Geraldine, Waimate, Fairley, Twizel and over 1,500 rural householders. Total circulation 17,000 plus increasing retail sales. Ron Bishop advertising sales and Gus Bishop photographed news. Page 15 of Photo News in 1984. Photo News properties for sale on page 16. A number of houses there selling privately, advertising in Photo News. It's called Property Market Space. Photo News bring buyers and sellers together. These properties are brought to you with the compliments of their owners or agents. There they were. Also sponsoring this page was South Canterbury Electric Power Board and Langwood's Studios, Langwood's Photography.